Go on.
No, I sense I've made a mistake of some kind.
Donations. 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 Gifts. 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 More gifts. More gifts.
I want to let you, every homosexual out there know that we are setting up rehabilitation center. Those whose rectums have been ruptured.
Can we use more sober language? People are having breakfast.
I'm sorry, those whose behinds has been ruptured.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Good Lord have mercy. Hallowed be thy name.
Greetings and salutations. Let's turn the music off for a little bit. This heifer. Do I still have her picture saved? I don't think I have her picture saved. Oh, she's still there. Here we go. The so-called doctor makes another appearance on this channel, man. This is crazy work. You would have thought after being exposed for being a for being a carpet cleaner, after being exposed for being what she is, a lesbo. Shout out to the Honorable Dr. Martin Semper. You would think she would have gone away by now. Nope. She's still kicking. She got to be from either from ATL or LA or one of these places. We got to find out where she grew up. Let's do a quick dive. Let's do a quick dive. We got to see where she grew up. Let's see where she grew up, man. Let's go on Google's. Where did the alleged Dr. Cheyenne Bryant grow up? Let's do this research. It was good, Pyro. Let's take this. Oh, yeah. Let me share the screen for you. I forgot I could do that. I could put the overlay over it and then hide my hide my progress before I show it. Oh, man. But let me take the overlay off. See what Google's got to say about this. Also, sorry, let me change the background so you guys don't get epilepsy. So according to Google's, they're saying that she grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, which means she probably grew up around Cleveland. All right. Attending Central Catholic High School before heading to college. Started college at Cal State Northridge at 17, earning degrees in psychology and Pan-African studies. Okay, Cal State. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me keep this. The streets had already exposed her for not really having her doctorates. But anywho, the audacity of this bitch. She recently went on Club Shay Shay. And I saw this news while watching the Corey Holcomb 5150 show. Somebody was in the comments was like, yo, the fake doctor was on Club Shay Shay. And I was like, you BSing. Nah, nah, no way. I was like, no way, no how, right? No way, no how. And then lo and behold, I go on YouTube and I see the announcement. Before I even go on the channel, I see the announcement that, oh, we're going to premiere the Club Shay Shay interview at 12 o'clock Wednesday, right? Now, after this, I am convinced, because I've seen Shannon Sharpe where he'll say, look, there's this certain comedian, I'm not gonna even say his name, I don't even find him funny, but he always has something to say about me. And I'm like, oh, you're talking about Corey Holcomb. You definitely are. And now with these, especially certain people that he brought on, I'm like, yeah. Man, Corey Holcomb's gonna have a field day when he sees this collaboration. A field day.
Can you tell? I mean,
Because what I want to do here, I don't think it'll be wise to just show the full interview in general, because it's obviously 3 hours and 40 minutes long. We can only do segments, right? But let's look at some of the comments off rip before we even go into the segments, because they already have the the popular segments. I already got that lined up for you. But let's look at some of the comments in the meantime, because I don't know why people. Well, I know why. The reason I'm gonna just let you know this: if you see any black man that has praise for Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, they just want to smash. That's it. That's it. There's nothing to it more than that. Men are men, right? It's nothing about nothing. Now, to the black women that are still falling for her shtick, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. at this point, I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. But anyways, let's go back here. Let's start off with something simple, though. Let's start off with something simple. Because I don't want to go straight into the interview. But actually, you know what? Before I even get into the segments, let's see if I can catch something real quick and just skimming through it. If there's something I'm missing because I already have the segments lined up. Let me just see if I'm not missing anything before I share the segments. And then I'm going to give you the first story.
My mother, they're a very protective family.
you're gonna never get no bad.
And you know, the Bible says it's better to be obedient than sacrifice.
Okay, she's quoting Sky Daddy already, the flying spaghetti monster.
So like me, I'm vertical in the God that's in me. Nothing.
Oh my. So that's what so people watched the near 4 hours of her just yapping. And guys, look, just to let you guys know, the reason why I'm just so anti Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is because I've seen this charlatan for over 10 years now. Oh yeah, it's going to be over 10 years now. I've been watching this charlatan go through the circuit. When I remember first seeing her, I think it was on TV before I saw her doing like some of the interviews, but this is a hoe that claims that she is a doctor. That's all. That's all she's proven to me. And then especially when I was younger, what I used to do is this. I always encourage you guys, right? Watch this. Let me show you something real quick. Because I always reference the show a lot because I watched this show a lot when I was in college, right? When I was in college, I watched a lot of Zowat, right? And what I want you to do is go on a Zowat show. And then on the search bar, like I'm showing you, I got this zoomed in for a reason. Go on the Zowat show and just type in Cheyenne Bryant or Corey Holcomb and Cheyenne Bryant together, and just to see, right? All this bitch would do, and just look at these old shows. These are the things that I was watching. Especially 2016, 2017, and 2018. I would literally just go through all these past episodes from 2015, 2014, and look at all of these old episodes. So, right? So let's take this for example.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason has returned to Dash Radio. Listen, if you're unfamiliar with how we get down, let's do this.
Here you see the dusty Dr. Cheyenne Bryant here. And this is where I would used to see her. Right? And you look at the title of the show, Orgasmically Deprived Woman. So of course she would be on an episode like this. And just her just yapping it. And Dr. Cheyenne Bryant has always come across to me as just one of these hoes that just be talking. She talks in circles. She talks in like the great Craig Fax says, she talks in Baduisms. When I say Baduisms, I'm talking about that's a reference to Erykah Badu, right? People like to say that, oh, Erykah Badu is so deep, she's so spiritual, and really she's just yapping. That's all she's doing. No disrespect. She makes great music. Erykah Badu makes great music, but nevertheless, right? She talks in Baduisms. That's all she does. She would come up here on the Zowat show. Other hoes would come up on the Zowat show, do the same exact things. Corey Holcomb would make guest appearances from time to time, calling her and other hoes out for talking in Baduisms, saying a whole bunch of nothing. That's who Dr. Cheyenne Bryant's always been to me. But she's always been attractive enough. And when I say attractive enough, I mean this. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant has a body shape and kind of a face, even though I would say she's average or slightly above average in the face to most African-American men, but she has body on her, right? So even Corey Holcomb in 2018, when he was talking about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, because I remember this, he said, oh, I know why Dr. Cheyenne Bryant be moving up in the big game, and she's the president of this NAACP chapter. He said this, he said, because that is a bad bitch. So even Corey Holcomb deemed her as a, quote unquote baddie. That's why she was able to move up in the game. This is in 2018, 2017. So this is all I know her to be. She is a bust down for the streets, the game, the industry, and any man that can, or woman that could help her elevate herself in status. The average clout chaser. But to the people that don't know her history, people might think that this is some kind of intellectual, which like I said, I've seen her a lot. I've seen a lot of her, and I've never been impressed Not one. I'm talking about not one time have I been like, oh man, she's talking about something interesting. But what I know about her is that niggas want to fuck her. Niggas, niggas don't want to marry her, but niggas want to fuck her. Niggas, right? Black men, right? They want to fuck her. That's why she's able to have staying power. That's why, many, and she's, and with her platform, particularly during that 2015, 2016 era, she didn't really use her platform to completely shit on black men per se. But because she has that body figure that a lot of, black men like, particularly when, you have, the average, black male scavenger that likes to, they like to fuck older black women that look like this, particularly. So they give women like this a pass. So this is kind of like, this is her background. All right. Oh shoot. Shadow Dog Law. Shout out to you with the $4.99. We got something for that. You already know. I already got the soundbite for that.
Donations. Gifts. More gifts.
Shout out to Shadow Dog Law, to the $4.99. Thank you for the donation. Shout out to the War Bim. Shout out. Let me read this comment though for the $4.99. I'll consider that the comment. But then he just flat out donated. Thank you. He said, "Stop it, Chris. She's fine. She's just annoying and a liar. We can separate the two." Man, it's that's just how I know her. So like when I see her getting this fame out of nowhere, or particularly when younger people that did not grow up watching her like I did 10 years ago, right? Literally 10 years ago. It irks me, like Corey Holcomb would say, but it really irks me the most because when you see somebody like that rise, it's just like, her? How is she able to hustle for that long? It's almost like when I look at Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and I see how she still is able to make a way in the game for herself, in the game for herself. It reminds me of this chick right here. I'm gonna bring up another chick for you. Y'all gonna know her when you see her. Natalie Nunn. Do y'all know who Natalie Nunn is by any chance? Do y'all know who that is? Do y'all know who Natalie Nunn is? Can I get an amen in the chat if y'all know who Natalie Nunn is? Like, I thought she'd be dead by now. And I know she says she's 40. That's what they say. That's what she says her age is. I think she's a little bit older than that. That's just her. Obviously, that's her entertainer age. She's probably a little bit older than that. But Natalie Nunn has always, to me, when I've seen her, a drunk, reckless, loose, hoe, everything bad, right? But she's always hustling. She's always on a TV show. She's always getting her bag. And you're just like, how? How is this possible? Because I knew Natalie Nunn when I was a kid. I'm talking about when I was a child. Elementary school. So when I see these certain women that they still hear, I'm like, wow, how, it boggles my mind. I used to see Natalie Nunn on TV when I was a child, acting reckless. I thought she would be one of them, like she just end up like, like one of those porn stars that end up, deleting themselves over. That's what I thought. I thought Natalie Nunn was just gonna fall under that, or she was just gonna find religion and then just like disappear from Hollywood or something. But she's still here. That's kind of how I look at Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Let me show you another thing. Let me give you something. I don't know if it's still on the internet. But I remember in middle school watching this interview of Natalie Nunn and saying, this bitch is reckless. Let me see. Natalie Nunn. Who's Absol's girlfriend? I don't know. What's her name? Absol's ex-boy girlfriend. Let me see. Who's Absol ex-girlfriend? What's her name? No, not a Lori Joe. I think it's probably his current girlfriend though. Let me see. Absol current girlfriend. Yeah, Yari Sanchez. That's what I was thinking. Yari Sanchez. Interview. I don't know if it's still on. Yeah, it's probably not on YouTube anymore. I remember when I was a kid, I'm talking about a little boy, right? I remember Natalie Nunn. No, sorry, it was Yari Sanchez interview with the Star Report, the Star and Buck. I think it was the Star and Buck Wild show. This was in like 2009 or 2008, and they were speaking on Lloyd Banks or Yari Sanchez, a relationship with Lloyd Banks. I don't know. Maybe this was 2009 or 2010 when I watched this. Anyway. And if you watch that interview, I don't know if anybody watched that interview. This was a long time ago. Yari Sanchez was as drunk as I've ever seen anybody on a radio interview. Sorry, not Yari. Yeah, Natalie Nunn was as drunk as anybody that I've ever seen on an interview. I remember seeing her as a kid and being like, this bitch is not going to last long. I was like, I was like, I don't know, in 7th or 6th grade. I'm just sitting there just like, I'm like, how's she functional? There's absolutely no way for her to be this hammered and she on a live TV interview. And then it went viral on World Star and YouTube a little bit, but really mostly in the Black community, right? But then I remember just like almost not even paying attention if Natalie Nunn was alive. And then about 5 or 6 years later, and I'm like, I'm watching, I'm like, oh shoot, Natalie Nunn's still on TV. She's still relevant. And then another 5 years later pass. And then another 5 years later pass. I'm like, Natalie Nunn is still here. She's still alive. You know, some of these people, they impress me. But anyways, before we get into Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, let's look at this. Let's take a look at this. Because I saw some very interesting videos. I saved a lot of interesting videos this week. Very powerful videos. A lot has dropped in these past couple of weeks. Okay. Let me show y'all something. I'm gonna show you 2 videos from my saved. Here we have 304 extraordinaire India Love. Here she's going to say, God told her to do OF. God told her to do OnlyFans and even showed her the promiscuous path to fame she took, despite everyone around her telling her not to. This is good. This is interesting. I want y'all to hear this because she's obviously not the first OF star to say that God told her to do porn or God told her to do OF. But I want you to hear this. I want you for all you religious ninjas out there that think that if you find a so-called religious woman, she's gonna be on your program. Let's hear her out.
Like, I was a very hard-headed young lady. I definitely was not listening to a lot of people. Like, I just beat to my own drum. I did what I wanted to do, and that's just that. And I don't regret it. But if I would have listened a lot more, life definitely would have been a little different for me. But that's not what God wanted me to do. So I'm okay with that.
Bruh.
Niche, I love you, Niche.
Bruh. Let's repeat that one more time. Let's repeat that one more time just to make sure I ain't hearing things.
Like, I was a very hard-headed young lady. I definitely was not listening to a lot of people. Like, I just beat to my own drum. I did what I wanted to do, and that's just that. And I don't regret it. But if I would have listened a lot more, I definitely would have. Life definitely would have been a little different for me. But that's not what God wanted me to do. So I'm okay with that. Niche.
Also, there are other videos of Indian Love because right now she's in her transformation arc. She is now talking about God a lot. She's also talking about religion and wanting to settle down and, you know, oh, I'm trying to date somebody that came from a 2-parent household. She on that BS right now. And then I noticed, I'm like, how old is India Love? Right? I did a quick Google search. And I'm like, how old is India Love? The proper age of 29 years old. Isn't that interesting? Just on time, right on time to be settling down. Jesus Christ, this, God, this, flying spaghetti monster, that. Right on time. Now, people will write this off. They'll say this is just a hoe. And this is the, two things can be true, right? This is just a hoe talking. But there's a lot of women that I've seen gotten away with this. Most notably Rachel Wilson, Andrew Wilson's wife. No disrespect. Many of OF stars have gone this route. They're done with the OF. Now they're trying to get wifed up by streamers, right? They're seeing all the you got these OF stars now. All they want to do is collabs with famous Twitch streamers, and they think they're finna put them on. And then really the streamers, they just use them for content, and then they just end up moving on to another OF chick star that wants to get her numbers up. But that's the game right now. Now, that's not going to be just OF stars. That's going to be the average broad. You're going to find out, especially now that you're going to have a lot of Gen Z women and a lot of younger millennial women as well, obviously. But you got the younger millennial women that are in their early 30s now, and young Gen Z women that are going to be in their 30s. If you do a background check on them, don't be shocked if you find out if she used to sell a little bit. She used to be a sugar baby on the side, or she had a seeking arrangement account. I had a homeboy of mine, or let me put it like this: this is somebody I knew, right? Let me not say homeboy; that would be disingenuous. Somebody I knew had a seeking account, a man, right? He said he was so shocked on how many women he saw on there that he knew. He said it was like bitches that he knew that was working at CVS, bitches that was cashier at CVS that was on that app, bitches that he used to work with, bitches he used to go to school. It was so many. He said it was so many regular bitches on there. I'm talking about. He said ugly bitches, regular bitches, bitches that not supposed to be on Seeking, that had these sugar daddy accounts. Now, he ended up finding that he found out this information by accident. He was one of these dudes that was following, I think, I forgot which, it was a specific show on YouTube that was telling people, it might have been Fresh and Fit. It might have been Fresh and Fit, but there was a particular podcast that was telling people you need to set up a dating account on one of these sugar apps so you can optimize your dating strategy and whatnot. And he said when he did it, he thought he was gonna get bitches, and he did. He said he was finessing, but he was surprised on how many bitches that he knew that was on there personally. And he was talking about it was like mad ugly bitches and regular bitches on there. That should scare you. That should scare you. You think you found a nice regular bitch that ain't been tampered with, that ain't, oh, she's a good woman now at, you know, the age of 28, right? 29, right? Then you do some background investigation on her. You found out she had this. You start looking up her medical history. You find out baby deletions, multiple baby deletions. You find out multiple, you know, medications, not just head medication. I'm talking about STD medication. It will be, I'm talking particularly when it comes to Gen Z women, because Gen Z women, not only, yes, they're demons, but they were massively misled and misinformed by women older than them. So a lot of them they've been basically ruined. So a lot of them are going to pivot, but you're going to be shocked about their past. Back then, if you find out, like, back then you would just find out, like say if you met your bitch in the 90s, right? Your woman. And then you'll find out her past is, okay, she messed with the quarterback or something. She was a side chick to the quarterback. That would probably be the worst thing. That would probably be like the worst thing you'd find out about your bitch back in the 90s. She was messing with the quarterback and the running back or something like that. Would be like the peak of the wholeness. And then you'd have extremes and outliers here and there. But that would be like the regular bitch. You find out she was a side chick to the basketball player that broke her heart. That would be like the top. But now, once you do the Carfax, you're gonna find out your bitch had several trains ran on her, sugar seeking apps accounts. You're gonna find out she sold some punani. You're gonna find out she got flown out to Dubai and got pissed on R. Kelly style. You're gonna find out all types of stuff. She got pooped on Vince McMahon style. Odell Beckham Jr. style, allegedly. All these things. And I don't think I don't think young men, they think it's just the hoes. They think it's just the OF stars. Nope. Pyro, shout out to Pyro for the $5 donations.
Donations. Gifts. More gifts.
Shout out to Pyro for the $5 super chat. He says, Chris, but religious women are the best. Look at Steve Crowder and Andrew Wilson. They have the best women, and they are in 304s, and they love these Sky Daddy. Oh, yeah, by the way, Pyro, she only has 3 bodies. And don't you know, Rachel Wilson, she only has 3 bodies. It just so happens to be the dads that she fathered kids with, but those are the only bodies she's been with. By the way, and then I think, didn't Steve Crowder say, because I don't even think his girl was a virgin. They you know, that's what Steve Crowder says, but it looks like these men are getting there. They don't know the symptoms. I don't think they know what a virgin is, bro. I think people, first of all, I think people are misconstruing what they're saying, because there's what I'm hearing from a lot of Christian dudes are, they'll say, oh, me and my wife waited until marriage. So then people will just automatically take it as, oh, you didn't have sex before marriage, and so did his wife. No, they didn't have sex before marriage. Now, the wife, on the other hand, she done some things before she met old boy. And I'm pretty sure Steve Crowder's wife, same difference. Same difference. I mean, this whole thing about this, you know, virgin stuff. But I'm talking about, like, you can't be talking about I mess with virgins. Sorry. You can't say that I marry virgins and then the woman is like 24, 25. Is no. That it doesn't work. That doesn't work like that. If you want to, the only way you meet a virgin is if you meet her at like 18, 19. That's your best bet. Because I'm not gonna tell you, oh, you gotta, because let's keep it a buck. If you didn't meet her in high school, she's most likely not gonna be a virgin. And if you're not messing with 18, 19-year-olds or college age, and you talking about I met my wife at 24, 25 and she was a virgin, she's lying. Or if she's like a virgin, vaginally, she'll like a woman will say that she's a virgin vaginally, but that she had dudes run up her exit hole, and then she'll do hand jobs here and there, and she won't count that as a body. Or she done given dudes blowjobs, but she won't count that as a body. So there's a lot of, particularly the conservative dudes, they don't know what a virgin is. It's clear. Or these dudes that think that they knew their wife, like the Akash types. Oh, I really know who my wife is, and you guys don't. Nah, we know who your wife is, buddy. Clearly better than you. We haven't even met the broad, and we know exactly what your wife is. That's rough. I don't. Yeah, these conservatives, they need and I'll say this: these young males that are coming in, they're gonna need a lot of help. Now, and then also, I've been hearing, you have young men will say, older women treat me better, and I'm like, don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. But that's a whole other discussion. But there's no, like, if you're meeting a 22-year-old girl and you're thinking you're picking up something fresh, I have news for you. Especially depending on what race you get her. If you get in a, like, say, a 23-year-old Latina bish, like, she most likely has been through the ringer for about 10 years. No disrespect. Black women the same way. Well, unfortunately, with black women, it's longer than that, because you got to factor in, unfortunately, abuse. If they got raised by a stepfather or all these dudes that have been in and out the mama's house, I don't know if you guys been noticing, but there's been a lot of black women particularly admitting, I got touched when I was 6, 7, 5 years old. I'm talking about like famous black women celebrities. Remember Clarissa Shields, the boxer. She said she was touched when she was a kid. And then I think there was somebody else. They said they got touched when they were like literally in kindergarten, basically. And these are the things that happen. These are the things that happen in single mom raised households. All these men coming in and out, babysitter after babysitter. You know what I mean? Like these are the things that happen. So you got to factor literally all of that in. And even if it's not her fault, you end up with something at the age of 24. Let's say you're like a 28-year-old man. You meet a 23-year-old woman, 24-year-old woman. You're thinking, okay, we got the age gap. I got a bit of an advantage. I'm about 2 or 3 years older than her. You don't know what that woman's been through. And whatever demons she has, now you're going to inherit all of her problems. So yeah, there's a lot of education that needs to be done. There's going to be a lot. There's also, we obviously have the great economic shift that's happening right now. Bitches are not stepping up to the plate. Economy's going down. Bitches don't want to work no more. When we actually need bitches the most, now we actually need bitches to work, and now they don't want to do it no more. I don't think if you guys have noticed, we actually need bitches to work. Now all of a sudden, bitches talking about, get me out of working. I don't want to work no more. I hate it here. And we actually need them to work. Now they don't want to work no more. Now you're gonna have these young dudes thinking, oh man, women are returning back. That's that's a bad deal right there. Because now you got these bitches, they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to clean, they don't know how to do nothing but just be a drain. Remember when I covered the NFL quarterback Jaden Daniels and Juju Watkins, and people were saying that Jaden Daniels' mom was too overprotective of Jaden Daniels, right? But people don't understand. Jaden Daniels hasn't gotten that big contract yet, right? So she's just trying to protect him right until he gets that contract. I bet you how much. I'll bet you how much anything after he gets that contract, that big, record-breaking contract for a young QB, his first one. Once he gets that contract, I bet you Mama Daniels is gonna back off and then let him make his mistakes. But when I covered Jaden Daniels with Juju Watkins, people are talking about power couple. I'm like, no, that's not a power couple. Juju Watkins that's a bill. And Jaden Daniels' mom knows better than anyone. Women are bills. They're women, particularly in America. They're just literal money pits. It's a separate bill. I don't care how much money you think Juju was making off of, it's a bill. This is why Mama Daniels was like, my biggest fear with Jaden Daniels is the girls, right? And people took it personal, but she's not lying. Whatever her nefarious reasons are for saying that, but she's not wrong. But anywho, there's a lot of, and then now Juju Watkins, she's hurt. Last I checked, she was hurt. I don't know if she recovered from that injury that she had, but thank God Jaden Daniels didn't take that on yet, because he's gonna have to take care of her regardless. Shout out to Tenacity 38. He said 100% agree. Yeah, exactly. So Pyro said, yes, I saw that when the mom was blocking the woman from sitting with him because women are a hole in men's pockets. It's literally women are. Usually when people ask me, why don't I have a girl, Chris? And I always tell them, I just be like, I can't afford one right now. Simply put, I just tell them I just can't afford one. And then what are you gonna say? There's no comeback from that. People get mad though when I say that. They're like, "What are you talking about, Chris?" Like, I will say, "Yeah, I can't afford one right now." Oh, Chris, will you say you pay for it? I'm like, no, I'm just saying I can't afford one. And like, I can't afford one right now. Now, unfortunately, when you say that, people, I guess, assume that you're not smashing or you're not having your situationships or whatever. I'm not saying I'm not fucking. I'm just saying I don't have a girl. I don't have like a steady girlfriend. No, that hasn't happened. Or somebody that I can hold up in the air and trust. Can't. I'm gonna just stick to the girls that I usually go to and just keep it pushing. And if somebody wants more than what I thought the original agreement was, then I gotta tell them, look, I'm not rolling like that. And I told you that up front. Now, if people have a problem with that, I don't know. Or even like say if I like, they say that men should be approaching women or men should be looking to take care of a woman. What's the incentive for a man going out of his way to approach a broad just to basically pay for her lifestyle? Because you're gonna spend money on the bitch eventually. Now, obviously, if she likes you enough, you don't have to per se pay. But eventually, if you're with her long enough, especially if you're claiming her, you're going to be spending some type of money on something. So that's the first thing I always say. I always be like, look, I can't afford one right now. It's the perfect comeback. Because there's no, you can't even, there's really no shaming or even insults that you can come back where you can basically shame me into searching. It's impossible. Because I'll just be like, I'm broke. I can't afford one right now. Once I get my money up, I'll think about it. But it definitely keeps people off my case. But anywho, let me see. Are we an hour in already? If we're an hour in, I might as well just start getting into these some of these Dr. Cheyenne Bryant segments. I should just start getting into the videos. But before that, let me show you one more video off of Twitter that I saved. I don't know if I had to scroll up or down. Oh, no. Is it this one? Oh, no, that's for another time. But anyways, so I just saw this clip today and I saved it. Shout out to the Daily Rap crew. I was just talking ish about them the other day. But here we have this video. This girl, she's going to admit that she basically ran her man away. She ran her husband away. Her ex-husband away. So let's hear her perspective on this. But she said something very interesting at the end that I hope people catch.
I was married for 5 years, but I was with my husband for 10 years. And I'm gonna be honest, I lost a good man because of my mindset of I can compete with a man. Clean vibes, Princess Street. I ain't have to work. I ain't have to do nothing. But my mouth was bad. And I lost a good man. I'm taking that L. I disobeyed every direct order, but I didn't cheat. And I thought like, oh, I'm the perfect wife. I don't cheat. I don't go outside. I don't even get dogged up. But I'm in the house saying, fuck you, suck my dick. Fuck your mother. Fuck everybody. And it's man, the kids we got together type shit. That's how mad I get. I fucked up a whole marriage. I had the that every bitch wanted. And I'm sitting here saying that because it eats me up every day. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm an alpha at the end of the day. And that's what me up. They put me in a soft girl era, but I still had the mindset of an alpha.
So even if you heard what she said at the end, she says, I'm an alpha. She still thinks she's an alpha, right? Now, a woman that's claiming that she's an alpha, that's just basically like, anytime I see a woman say that she's an alpha, it's almost like, you know, one of those little kids that think they're grown-ups. And you're just like, okay, right? But because most men don't check women when they say, oh, I'm an alpha, or once they start raising their voice at a certain decibel, and you don't tell them, hey, yo, lower your voice, right? Respectfully, obviously. Since nobody checks them, they just really think they're an alpha. They really think they're an an alpha woman. I'm an alpha female. They'll call themselves an alpha female out loud. And they don't even realize how ridiculous they sound. So let's hear that one part at the end, because that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and that's what me up. So, put me in it. And I'm sitting here saying that because it eats me up every day. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm an alpha at the end of the day, and that's what me up. So, put me in a soft girl era, but I still had the mindset of an alpha.
So what she said too, right there, that was the interesting part. She said he put me in the soft girl era, but I was still an alpha. So that basically puts to bed that theory of, you know, women will say, I can't be at my full feminine if he doesn't put me, if he's not I can't be fully feminine if the guy's not being fully masculine, or he needs to bring the femininity out of me. You'll hear many women say this. And I've always said that's always been cap. It's either you're feminine or you're not. That's it. It's no amount of, oh, you need to make this amount of money so I can be in my divine feminine, which is just them being lazy sacks of shit. Let's keep it a buck. But, you know, I can't be in my full feminine, the conditional femininity. So this example right here puts to bed the notion of Because she said that she didn't have to work. He made all the money. I didn't have I all I had to do was stay home. And she still says that in her mind she was still an alpha. She said I had the man that every bitch wanted, right? But in her mind, she says she's still an alpha. And let's keep it a buck. She still feels like an alpha. Look how she talks. Look at her mannerisms. She's loud. She's very hands-on, I can tell, right? Like, I would even want to do an interview. Like, I would even want to do a podcast with her, right? There's many women, like I remember 2 women I did a podcast with, that same energy when I was doing podcasts with my cousins, that same, quote unquote masculine energy. But it's really embarrassing to be around a woman like that. Very draining, but most dudes they just don't have the patience to really deal with women like that. Because if you check the bitch, you're gonna be seen as abusive. you're gonna be seen as abusive. If you check her, she's gonna say you're controlling, etc., right? But like I said, this clip basically puts to bed, don't ever think as a man, oh, because I don't have enough money, or because I'm not this height, or I'm not this body shape, or this, that's why she's not feminine with me. No, it's not even being a matter of feminine. It's just a matter of respect. Because if your bitch respect you, she'll do whatever she needs to do to make sure you stay around. Forget the whole, femininity, because it's either you're feminine or not. But at the end of the day, if she respects you, if she looks at you as she looks up to you, she will do whatever change is necessary to fit in, to be under your wing. But that whole, femininity, he needs to bring the femininity, that's one of the biggest scams, right? It's either she fucks with you or she doesn't fuck with you. That's it. Let me look at this. I'll be like, okay, so Pyro says, whenever people ask why I don't have a girlfriend, I always tell them, how am I going to take care of a woman when I can't even take care of myself? Yeah, I just be telling people, oh yeah, I'm too broke. I'll just say that, oh yeah, I don't have any money. That's how you got to do it. And just really see what kind of girls you can attract without showing that you have any money. A lot of mistakes I've seen, even I'm talking about for people that I know, even in my family. I'm like, don't y'all see, like, the bitch? Okay, I'm not saying the bitch doesn't have a liking to you, but don't you find it a bit suspicious? Okay, I'm a nobody. I didn't really have a girlfriend before. All of a sudden, I get a trucking job and I'm starting to make money. All of a sudden, I got a girlfriend now. It's like, don't y'all see? Like, she knew you had something. She knew you had something. She saw you be like she saw you take out your credit card and not worry about it, or she overheard. She knows that you do trucking, or you work for UPS. And, UPS drivers, if when you work at the right company, they get paid a lot of money, right? They know that certain jobs has gotten a pay bump. Now all of a sudden, you got this new job where you got some money. All of a sudden, you got a girl. Don't you find that suspicious? Like Dr. Umar said, even people that I know, like, it'll be like in college, right? This dude I know, I'm not gonna say if he's a family member or not. Right? Girl that he knew for a minute, right? He knew her for a minute. But she wants to be with him now. Now, he's young, right? He's 23, 24. She's 1 year younger than him, 23, 22. But I'm like, if she really wanted to fuck with you, like, I never asked him. I'm like, were you sleeping with her when you first met her? Because that would be different. Then I could be like, okay, she likes you, right? But she finds out you work for a certain firm in New York. She gets to know you for 2 or 3 years. So after she's done playing the field and done surveying her options, she's trying to latch on, okay, who is the most responsible out of the bunch? Who looks like who has the highest earning potential? Who looks like they're stable? Okay, let me latch on to this one right here. Right? Now, I'm not saying that's what the situation is, but you got to look at where she comes from. She comes from a poorer city. She's not really from the suburbs, right? So she went to college. She thought she was going to be bigger than what she was. It didn't really work out. She still graduated, but she ain't going to make no money. I'm looking at the job that she works at. I'm like, you could be a mark. You could be a mark. But I digress. Because a situation like that, you already know what's going to happen. And don't let me find out. I hope I don't find out. Do not let me find out if she's making you wait. If she's making you wait. If she's doing that, then I know for a fact she don't fuck with you. Right? But these, people gonna have to learn this the hard way. People really gonna have to learn this the hard way, man. I'm like, why is she fucking with you now? But I'm talking about you didn't even tap that. You didn't even get a hand job out the bitch. You couldn't even get the bitch to hug you when you first met her. Right? But she's fucking with you now. After I'm talking about now that he's established. Now basically his career is going to be on a complete trajectory up. It's like now his career earning it's up. This person I know it's going up now, and it's been a stat. He's got his official license for, I'm not going to say the profession. Now all of a sudden you got a girl, huh? Interesting timing. And it's from somebody that you kind of already knew, but it doesn't even look like you was fucking with the bitch. But now she's giving it up to you. And then I'm looking at the job that she has, bitch. I don't want to speak bad on her name, but the money that she's making, she clearly, even though she has a degree, she needs a man to make way more than her to help financially stabilize the situation. Because at max, she's gonna make $50K, $60K a year, right? And that's not enough for most women, right? They're gonna blow through that money. So I don't know. Some of these dudes, like I'm maybe I'm just because I'm so distrustful of people in general. Right? So I'm always like, okay, why does she like me now? Why is she fucking with me? I'm always gonna ask why. And then particularly me, there's only about 3 or 4 girls I can count on I'm talking about on one hand. I can count on one hand the amount of girls that actually liked me for me when I was like in high school / college. Right? That actually liked me for me when I had nothing to offer. Right? So basically every other girl now that I know, it's always like, nah, yeah, you like me, yeah, but what's in it for you? Why me? A lot of men, they don't really ask these kind of questions. I think men, like when we do it, people might think it's self-doubt. I don't think it's self-doubt. It's just you need to assess the person that's coming into the people that are coming into your life. You have to. Anyways. Shout out to Bald Eagle Arrange 3450. He says, you're always a mark if you're easily approachable. Exactly. So that's me, unfortunately. Right. So this is why I tend to, particularly when I'm out in public, I gotta play it a little bit rough for the most part. But this is why you always gotta say, me, I always say I'm broke, right? And there's this thing that I do, and this is probably I don't really like admitting this in public, but I've put all the money that I've earned. I don't really. I'll just say it like this: not all of my money's in the bank, right? So if you look up my name, or if you go to the tax collector's office, right? If you know my government name, which many people don't know my government name, it'll probably say $1 or $0 in there. But most I'll just say this: most of my money is not in the bank, or I'll just say this like this: most of my money is not. It's always moving. My money's always moving. I do a lot of cash, right? I do a lot of cash. I'm one of those few people. I go to the gas station. All right, okay, that's gonna cost about $60. All right, just put $60 and pump whatever. Right? People will always mistaken me for like, oh, I work in construction or something, or I work in that's just how I do things. So most people, because women know when you're broke or you're not broke, right? So this is why women tend to get a bad read on me, or they tend to like not really know what I do. So 15, yeah, 15YJZ says, smart man, I'm putting my second property in my LLC name. So exactly, and that's another thing too. I've done the process of a lot of my stuff. I'm 1099, right? So that's what I've been doing. A lot of the things I always ask for in cash. Now I used to finesse the system a little bit better. So I would have like a W-2, like a regular W-2 when I would work, and then when I would work regular jobs, and then I'll just say, oh, I'm only making 40K, or was it 30K a year? But then I would have, but that's a whole other game. Or I'll say this: there's a certain number threshold that you can keep yourself under. Like, so say if there's anybody in here with kids, right? I don't have kids, right? This is something I learned from some musicians, right? There's a certain money threshold that you make where you really got to start accounting for it, where people know. Anyway, let me not go into that, because low key I sound like a scammer when I start saying this shit. But a lot of church musicians, they kind of roll like that. They roll like that. Even some of I know a lot of the musicians, the car they drive, they put it, they can get it written off taxes. They say it's a business trip, whatever. I remember my because my dad kind of helped me out with a lot of that stuff. So like in the beginning, my dad was like, "What? Why don't you do this?" Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't understand any of this. But until I started hearing it from the musicians, I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess this is what I need to do." Blah blah blah. But my money is never going to stay in one place. My money's never going to stay in one place. People don't know my address, right? So I never bring women back home. I never bring quote unquote friends home, right? I do these things on purpose, right? But I remember this one chick, she got so mad, like it was this well, a couple chicks have gotten mad about me. Like I'll be on the road and then I'll be like in a hotel. People like, why? They'll be like, why don't you go? I'm like, no, and I'll say I'm on the road, even though I'm like, I'll be like an hour away from home, and I'll be like, oh no, I'm on the road. You want to check in with me? And sometimes I will be checked into a hotel from time to time, not no motels, but a hotel. Hey, why don't you check in? And then be like, what do you think I am? I'm some kind of whore? You just check in. I was in New York City, and then like I remember this one girl, she said she was gonna meet me at the hotel. Sometimes they'll do it. They'll come to me in with my hotel room. But I remember this one specific chick, she was fine until then she literally told me like she told me that she wanted her friends after she was done clubbing. She said, oh, I was gonna have them drop me off to the location. I'm like, oh, she gonna cancel. Because as soon as her friends are gonna say, as soon as she tell her friends, oh yeah, just drop me off at this hotel, they're gonna think that she a hoe. She's gonna think she's a paid hoe. But everything, a lot of the things I do, even like I remember when I was younger, I used to like sell off my cleats and stuff. I don't know how people can do these Facebook marketplace things. They have people come to their house. That's crazy to me. I would I would go like to a pickup location where we do pickup soccer. I'll be like, come to the pickup soccer game with me. I'll have the cleats right there, and we'll go in a public place, or we'll go to a mall. People be having these people come to their house. No, I would never do that. Or when I'll be selling off certain items I'd get, I'll sell them off. I would never do it at my house. But I don't know. People are really stupid about this. Particularly with Facebook Marketplace, I don't know why people do that. And then also my money. Oh yeah, also a lot of my money, it's in certain family members' names, right? So my money's never gonna be just tied up in just the bank. Hell no. Nah. By the way, your money's not particularly once it comes to investing, right? You're not supposed to just keep your money in a bank, like all of your money in a bank. You're supposed to have your money move. That's another, like, that's you can't. You're just looking to get robbed long term. You need to have that thing in a IRA, something, some stocks, something. You can't have your money just sitting. This was financial advice from Chris Mike. Oh man! So shout out to Bald Eagle Rage, I think, Ear Rage 3450. He says, yeah, I hear you. My money's in physical assets, tools, parts, machines, ARs, like in my name. Very smart. He says, oh hell no, I always meet in a public place, at least if it isn't furniture. Oh yeah, I've like there's certain things I've gotten from free off of Facebook Marketplace. Damn near. Like I remember this one dude, he was selling off he had this whole stack of like bass guitars. I was able to flip. But his wife wanted him to get rid of his bass guitars, and I was able to get. So if you have like a regular 5-string bass guitar that you put work in it costs about, if you really want a good sounding bass guitar and you put work in it, you customize it. How about this? Like a regular 5-string bass guitar that's already pre-made, it'll cost about $500-$600. He was selling his whole rack. He had like a rack of like 4 or 5 of them. 2 of them were custom made, and the rack was only going for $400. I was like, what? I checked them out. They were still in pretty good shape. I was like, why are you getting? He's like, well, the way. So the wife posted the ad not necessarily without his knowing, but basically she warned him, and then basically a lot of his stuff he had to he had to he had to he had to sell off his shit. He doesn't play bass guitar anymore. He just liked to keep it around, because these are the things that he used to use. They're still in pretty good shape, man. I was like, you only giving these away for $300. I was like, wow, oh, shit, I'll take all of these right now. He had like a cut, I remember he had this one custom made one, and when I did like the total in my head, I didn't even ask him. He did like one of a real custom one. Cause I know some of my boys, they don't put in like $800, $900 worth. And then on top of that, with a bass guitar, you gotta remember, you gotta keep replacing the strings. And that costs about what, $60, $90, around $80 to do that every other time. He had the knobs changed. He had the knobs changed and all that. The tuners changing up all of this. So two custom mades. Now, obviously, I kept one of the bass guitars, one of the cheaper ones, just for me. But the other ones, I sold them for a pretty penny. I flipped the hell out of those ones. But that was back. That was what 2021. Yeah, that was like 2021 or 2020. That was like during kind of post pandemic, where still a couple people were afraid to go outside. But anyways, no. So this is what he had: two custom basses that I know he had to spend he put at least almost over $1,500 in work, in terms of just work you put in with those custom ones. At least that's like the way it was made. He put in work in them. He put in work. And then I kept the cheaper one that wasn't really done. There was one that was a custom one, but I can tell he just bought it from the Guitar Center and didn't finish one, because there's a couple like 5-stringers. Like if you get the Ibanez whatever, you can get that from the Guitar Center for like $200, $300, $100, probably $200, right? But he gave me the whole rack. I just remember I did not pay over. I think it was something over $300, but it was not over $400. I remember that. But that whole rack, that was worth a lot more than that. That was easy work. That was when I was on my hustle back then. I was on straight hustle mode in 2020 and 2021, man. But anywho. Let's go to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, the alleged doctor, right? Let's look at some of these clips. Let's go over some of these clips that went viral. So let's look at this clip. She's talking about women dating younger men. Oh, man. Let's see. I might do this one first. Let me just check the Club Shay Shay YouTube channel page just to see. So these are all the popular ones. When she's talking about side chicks, Tracy Ellis Ross. Okay, let's do this one. Older women dating younger men. So I've already talked to you about
these younger men.
This phenomenon where you're going to have older women saying that younger men want us more. Right. Oh, man. Oh, for a build kit, you mean? Yeah, you could get a builder kit You can get a build kit. You can get a yeah, the custom ones are around those prices. But I remember the one that I got from him, the Ibanez one, that custom one, that can't be no more than 200. No way. The black Ibanez 5-stringer. That one I don't think he finished it. I think he just had that one. And then the other ones he had the two ones that were already customly made, and then the ones he said that one that had to be like built from scratch. But it was like a whole rack of bass guitars that I got. And then I flipped it. But anyways, yeah, that was during the time. I don't know why. Yeah, people still do that. They'll have you come to their house. They'll put their actual address there, and then I'm like, this is dangerous work. I would never. I would never. I would never do that. But people do this on Facebook Marketplace all the time. Oh yeah, and by the way, before we share any Dr. Cheyenne Bryant clips, we got to put this disclaimer out there. Just for the people that don't know, we've covered this on the 150 shows, and O'Shea Duke Jackson and all these Black Manosphere people. We've already exposed her already, right? Dr. Cheyenne Bryant does not actually have a doctorate. She has been playing us all word on the street. Well, this is actually official. Is that she doesn't have a doctorate. Even on her bio, it says she pursued it but never completed it. Also, she went to Argosy, which is closed around the time she allegedly went there. Now, Argosy, that's the university that scammers usually use to say, I got a master's from, I got a doctorate from. But if you look up Argosy, it's an institution that's been discontinued. So you can never actually look up the records of who actually graduated there and who did and who didn't, right? So this is a university that scammers use to say, oh, I went to this school, but they can never prove. You can never actually prove or disprove whether or not you had a degree coming out of there. Okay. He says, for someone who is so braggadocious about her accomplishments, there are no pictures of her in a cap and gown. Very odd. Facts. I don't see no pictures of her in a cap and gown. Particularly women, they be posting it all over their IG. I'm talking about every year. Bitch could be 60 years old. She's still gonna post her graduation photo from even high school. but no graduation photos. That's very interesting. That I also noticed that as well. Anyways, he says, very odd. As a psychologist myself, her dissertation is also nowhere to be found. Exactly. Somebody came on a 5150 show and also exposed that. Somebody goes, my guess is she started the doctorate and didn't finish it, but lies to everyone about having a doctorate, which is super problematic and frustrating, especially for those of us who went and did the work to witness. She doesn't have the license to call herself a psychologist if she is truly a psychologist. As a psych myself, again, not sure what a psychology expert is. I did email her and ask her about it, and she curved me. She is a perpetrator, and I hope the world finds out the truth. Because she doesn't have a doctorate, she isn't bound to any ethical guidelines, which means she's sort of a rogue person. This is super scary and problematic. You probably notice she isn't talking with any actual psychologists or academics. I wonder why. How do we shed light on this perpetrator? Because pursuing a degree from a scam university, which is now shut down, and lying to people who actually value what you say is harmful. So that's the disclaimer. This has already been said on many shows. This has already been proven. But anyways, let me see something. So Bald Eagle said the 4001. Let me see how much that costs. Rickenbackers 4001. Search that up. cost. Yeah, they said price range $200 to $3,000. So that means the custom, you could get a custom from around that price. Okay. But anyway, sorry, I did a little side search. I did a little side search here. My bad. But anyways, so just remember, when you talking about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, you're talking. This is a charlatan. You're literally yeah, of course, definitely. But that hold on for a second, just to show you that he's not making that stuff up, right? By price, $2,000. Like this is a pre-owned Rickenbacker, $3,000 if you want to get a Rickenbacker, the 1976 Rickenbacker. When did Rickenbacker stop making the 4001? 1985. But anyways, well, that'll be a little side project of mine. But when you're listening to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, this is a charlatan. It's been too many people pulling her card, but she still gets a platform because men like Shannon Sharpe, or even, young male athletes or young black men in general, they want to fuck her. That's what they want to do. Let's keep it a buck. That's what they want to do. They want to smash. Okay. Excuse me. So let's play it from the YouTube. Let's look at this version of it, the 9-minute version. 1.25. Here we go.
A lot of these younger men in that 35-ish range,
Yeah.
even a little younger than 30, they are a lot more mature than a lot of these men who are 45 and up.
Yeah.
They're not stuck in their ways.
Yeah,
They are very flexible. They open doors. They know how to date. They are actually hunters like men used to be.
Yeah.
They're calling, they're texting, they're love bugs. They want to get married. They're all
They ain't like the old school. That we the old guard. We the hunters.
Yeah. And let me say this, not only women, but men in their 30s are the new generation that don't have baby mamas. You'll be surprised at how not thirsty for sex and women these younger men are. Meaning like they are literally saying, if we can't date or if we can't have some type of out of the bed romance, I'm turned off. Right. There's so many young men here who are like,
so she's already lying. she's already lying. Alfred, first of all, we already know when older women are with younger men is for the sex, for both parties. But the problem is you're still getting the same results. Nobody's marrying you, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. You're still getting the same results. Even the older women, you're still getting the same results. Now, obviously, you have these people in the NBA, they're getting got, right? You got these young NBA superstars, with older chicks, but they're still not getting, outside of Jalen Green, which I don't think he married the bitch. I just think he just put a baby in the bitch. But what the older women are now trying to do is they're trying to mess the game up by basically trying to get locked down by younger men, even though as an older woman, you literally offer nothing. Like what gain can you get from locking down an older woman? Especially if you're like a guy in his 20s and then the bitch is in her late 30s, right? Mid 30s. Even if she's like 5 years older than you, that's still, what do you gain outside of sex? You literally gain nothing. The bitch can't procreate. And then let's take it from Dr. Cheyenne Bryant's point of view. She's 43 years old. Like she's never had any kids. So she can't she can't have kids. It's going to be impossible at this point, right? She's had abortions, but that was in the past. She can't have any kids. She's 43. She still hasn't been locked down. she's in a relationship with a lesbian. She just hasn't said it in public, but basically everybody knows it now. I don't know what she's talking about. Oh, younger men are actually, this is a phenomenon that's been happening. And look at this. Now, mind you, when older men talk about dating younger women, it's always a no-no, right? It's, oh, you're a PDF file, or what are you doing with that young lady? Oh, you're with a kid, right? Now you have broads coping. And she's not the only one that's been coping about this. I've shown you videos from the bitch from Paul Pierce's podcast. She was talking about young men wanting her, right? Which is not true. They might want to, they want to smash if they can, but nothing more and nothing less. Nothing more than smashing. And then the common complaint is, once these older men are with these older women are with these younger men, they always end up saying the same thing. But he doesn't want to take it serious with me. Bish, you 40 something. He's in his 20s. Really, you're supposed to be paying him. You're supposed to be the sugar mom. But what the older women are trying to do, they're trying to get younger men to pay for their lifestyle. And you, as an older woman, literally offer nothing but dried up eggs and probably somebody else's kid. And even if you are child free and you're an older woman, you literally offer nothing. Literally nothing. Not even the potential of life growing inside you. You see, this is why even in the past, they would prefer it where they had older men with younger women, because at least the older man could provide financial stability, mental, maturity, a stable life. Most likely, older men that are with younger women, they already inherently know, okay, I'm the provider here, right? I'm the one making most of the money. I'm the one setting up the lifestyle, and then in turn, she offers her youth. She offers her best or her younger years in terms of most likely being able to procreate, being able to raise a child, offering her fertility in her younger years. That's why it was more acceptable back then. Even now, it's more acceptable when an older man is with a younger woman. But when you're talking about younger man and an older woman dynamic, outside of maybe a possibility of unlimited sex coming from the young man's perspective, that older woman literally offers nothing but baggage and trauma to that younger man. Literally nothing. Outside of sex, what do you offer that man? But like I said, the older women, since they messed themselves up in the game, they're trying to finesse. They think they think that they can finesse younger men into paying for them. Now, few of them have gotten away with it, but most are not going to be able to get away with it. Because eventually she's going to get mad at you. Eventually she's going to be mad at you that you're not paying for shit, even though it's supposed to be really her paying for you. Right? This is why, like, particularly when you talk about women getting money or women earning more money, it's basically pointless because they still don't want to pay for shit. But we'll let her continue.
Women are just throwing the pussy at me. Versus back in the day, it was men were chasing the cat.
Yes.
And that's a turn on for me. And you have the older men who are just kind of like, look, it's kind of like you're saying, I'm working, I'm doing me, what you see is what you get. Yeah. And I definitely want the intimacy as far as sex with you, but I'm not sure if I can commit. I'm not sure if my old ways will allow me to.
Well, most of the time, older men are in the position where they can trick, right? Or where they can literally pay money for the pussy. So older men are like, okay, I'm going to have to, if I get with an older woman, I'm going to be paying more money just in general. If I get with a younger woman, I can literally just pay her phone bill and she'll be in my bed tonight and then I can send her home. and move on about my day. So particularly the older bachelors, they're just like, oh, this is a no-brainer. I'm just gonna do woman and just pay for their lifestyle instead of from an older broads. If she these older broads be having all these health problems, that they need help, paying for. They're in so much debt. Their life is in turmoil. They have health problems. They're looking for somebody to pay for all of that. So older men are just like, I'm just gonna pay for a younger woman. More attractive. If you see if you got a product that's literally better, faster, stronger, fresh, new, not pre-owned, or how about this? Leased previous owners, right? And 75% cheaper. They're gonna I mean, it's a no-brainer. But older women, what they're doing is they're used goods and they're still pricing themselves out of the market. They think they think they should get the same money that they were getting when they were young. This is what's messing up the game right now.
Maneuver or to transform into what's needed for a relationship. And you're finding, studies have shown, the older woman and younger guy is having the higher success rate when it comes to a healthy marriage and happiness.
I beg your pardon?
The older woman and
That's not, first of all, that's not true. That's not true. Studies say, okay, so when do people, so now when a bitch just says some stats, especially, black women, they just be making stats up. just to let you guys know, black women are the queens of just making up stats, right? Where are the bitches in the comment section talking about, yo, where are your sources for that? You're not going to see that. But that right there, that's just a lie.
and younger man. They're finding that success rate has actually outdid the older man and younger woman.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
And think about
really? Shannon Sharpe is like, she's like, this bitch lying. So you need to tell me Shannon Sharpe will be successful. He has a higher success rate of marrying a bitch that's in her 60s. Oh my God. What is this bitch talking about? This is probably the same bitch. She better not bring up that fertility thing too with the 40-year-olds. Like, there's this study that came out where they put it on the newspapers that more women in their 40s are having babies than teenagers. And they were trying to make it look like that women are more fertile in their 40s than they are in their teenage years. And I was like, are people really buying this? No, 40-year-old women they're keeping their babies at a higher rate than women in their 20s and in their late teens. The highest cohort of women deleting their kids are young women ages 14 to 19. The second highest is the next age up. It's like 20 to whatever. I think 20 to 26. That's the second highest for baby deletion. So the first one is 14 to 19, and then the second highest is the 20 to 26. Young women are just not keeping them. They're getting knocked up. They're just deleting them. Now a 40-year-old broad, she's not going to delete her kid. Because at that point she's trying to get a kid for whatever she's trying to get pregnant. For whatever reason that may be. So I hope she doesn't bring that up because that could easily be disproven as well.
Shannon, though, us older women, we actually keep ourselves up a lot better than the generation of older women did
for sure.
prior to us, right?
Yeah,
and so we are working.
Well, you mean Botox and surgeries and all this stuff?
out. I mean, of course, there's other augmentations that can be done. I'm not knocking nobody that women are willing to do. The self-care is there. Women are taking care of their skin. I mean, it's a whole nother world for women right now in the sense of how they keep themselves up. And so
she's trying to sell herself to older men. That's really what she's doing. Because at the end of the day, like, first of all, older broads know that they can get a younger man to quote unquote sleep with them, but it's not going to be anything more than that. Is not going to be anything more than that.
there is no competition for us when it comes to young women because.
Did she really just say that? Oh my Lord, here we go.
No competition for us when in the sense of how they keep themselves up. And so there is no competition for us when it comes to young women because we really are those women like that 35 to 45. And I've even seen women at 55 where I'm like, sis,
I think
what are you doing? And Tracy Ellis is one of them.
Oh man.
Most of the women who are gorgeous and still doing their thing and have that glow, they ain't been married and they don't have no kids. I'm just saying. I'm just saying we out here glowing.
Happy, a lot of y'all like
not
that.
stressed out.
Yeah.
Very sexual, very happy, very loving, very rich, very well taken care of.
Rich? Not no, she can't. Oh my God. There's too much cap, man. Just way too much cap.
Dating. No, having our way. Very happy.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there's not happy marriages because there are.
Sure.
But when you choose from that place, you calibrate like-minded, like vibrational energy. You're less likely to get somebody who is not happy, who's not healthy. You repel a man who's out there womanizing and doing certain things because that man also knows he can't sustain that quality of woman.
Do you think men are lonely?
I think men and women are lonely. I think both are. I think that, again, we are in an over-sexualized culture right now. And sex satisfies the flesh, like it's been doing you. It doesn't satisfy the heart. Our satisfaction.
How about yourself, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? This bitch acts like she ain't been in the streets. Oh my goodness. Hold on for a second. I missed a couple chats. I missed a couple. Shout out to Bald Eagle. He says, because they can't set shit down and are holding on to everything like Atlas holding up the world, they want to let go of anything, even for their health. So they only get more expensive and need you to pay. The older a woman gets, the more you're going to pay for her. Oh, so Garrett says Uncle's trying to smash. But like I said, black men are attracted to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. That's why she's been able to last for so long. She's the type to, Garrett Grant said, I called it. Yep. Yeah, she said all the things that I thought. Oh, there's actually no competition. Just the fact that you said it already confirms what I've been saying, or what people in this space have been saying. Older women are competing with younger women for the same men. And this is why I laugh at younger women. They'll say certain stuff. And I was like, you look, whatever older woman put that in your head, she's competing with you. Because now you have these same broads bragging about being able to quote unquote date younger men. I'm like, aren't those the same dudes you told the younger women to stay away from? But then at the same time telling those same younger women, stay away from those older men too. So they can keep their own options open. Just the fact that I've seen broads in real life. They've had women that are young women that are 20 years old, 19 years old with Botox, filler. Women that are 23, they put things in their face, body inject. I'm like, why would you do that? You don't need it. That stuff is for 30-year-olds that don't want to face the wall. So like you're gonna permanently look like a 35-year-old that's not trying to age. You're not supposed to look like that in your early 20s. And I'm like, a man didn't tell you to get that plastic surgery. An older woman told you that. And she was hating on you. Let me give you another example of this. What's this broad, right? I don't know if I can find this broad on Instagram. There's this one broad on Instagram that was looking good. I had to give her credit. I don't know if I can find this bitch. This one Spanish bitch that actually was I gave her I'll say she was a high 8 out of 10. This bitch right here. Watch this. Do any of y'all know this broad on IG? She did something to her lips. So when you look at her now, she looks crazy, right? Hold on. Let me see if I can get a good picture of her in just the lip job that she did with her lips. Her face used to look so different. And I wanted to, I'm like, who told you to do that? You're 21. She can't be no more than 22 years old. Last I checked. I don't know if I can do a zoom in, but she did something to her lips. She had some kind of face surgery done. She did something to her chin, but her face before, I don't think I can zoom in really anymore, but man, she used to look like she was really an 8 out of 10. I'm not even she was a real 8 out of 10, but she did something to her face. I don't know who told her to do that, but I'm telling you, a man did not tell her to do that to her face. Or was it the man that she's with did not tell her to do that? She looks crazy now, but she went and got she got her face done, and then she specifically got her lips done. Her lips used to be a lot smaller. Now, I'll say a lot smaller. She did something to her lips and her face, particularly her chin area. Clearly, there was some kind of woman in her life that put some insecurities in her head and told her to get some work done. The only people that I see encouraging women to get work done on their bodies at a young age are older women telling younger women to do that. I don't even see gay men telling women to get these kind of things done. But it's all sabotage. It's all sabotage. But it's going to be later on in life when women they'll finally realize oh shoot, the older women were competing with us the whole time. But yeah, any of you guys, because I don't think I can get a good picture, a good close-up look from this girl's page. But if you guys can scroll down long enough, you can actually see her face before she did that to her face. She actually looked good. And I don't put that around lightly. She looked good. She was a strong 8 out of 10. A strong 8 out of 10. I don't even give hoes 8 out of 10. She was a strong 8 out of 10. No cap from my vantage point. But I remember just one day just looking at her Explorer, and then I'm like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, what did she do to her face? This bitch look crazy. She trying to look like a Kardashian or something. Right? Well, I guarantee a man did not tell her to do that. A woman did. I guarantee it.
Action comes from the heart. The heart already knows what you want. Half of us just are too afraid to let it have that because we don't know how to navigate it at the mind, intellectual space. But the heart is saying, but that right there is going to make me fully complete, fully satisfied. Wow. So yeah, I think people are just lonely. I think because folks are operating from this transactional space and everything is transactional, either sex or, a bag or prostitution or not. And there's no relational things happening. And I think relational.
Sounds like she's describing herself.
We're very unprepared and ready for this type of leadership. Right. I think what American leadership will be less led. I think that for the first time in history, that leadership will be different than what we had. And if there is any time
Wait, whoa. She was talking political? What happened here? What happened here?
40.
40 to 50-ish range. It could be we're very unprepared and ready for this type of leadership.
Right.
I think what America needs.
Just yet. So get out my face. Michelle Obama, former First Lady Michelle Obama, said America's not ready for a woman president just yet. So get out my face.
Yeah, I heard it.
Do you think America's ready for a woman's president?
I don't think it matters what America's ready for. America thought they were ready for Trump. And obviously we were very unprepared and ready for this type of leadership.
Right.
I think what America needs is a little younger leadership. I'm not saying 20 or 30. I'm just saying younger than like Biden or Trump, right? Even if it's the 40 to 50-ish range. It could be male or female.
Bill Clinton is younger than both of the last presidents, and he was president.
We already know what we don't need. I already know what we don't need is a female. What we don't need is a female president at any age. See, this Pyro the Flame King says, do they not know it's for 30 plus women who feared looking like dried up grapes? Yeah, those kind of facial surgeries, that's only for like, 40-year-old bitches that hit the wall and they just want to kind of prolong, like they don't want to look completely out of the game, so they get the face surgery done. That's what that surgery's for. But I'm seeing 20-year-old females having these things, and I'm like, damn, hoes are evil to let you do that to yourself, right? Shout out to Nick. He says, "What's up, Chris?" He says, "Yeah, older woman finesse, Drea finesse, and Jalen Green right now." Yeah, well, that's Jalen Green's gonna have to learn, or like, but at the same time, I've seen Jalen Green do some Fugazi-ish. Like I remember that college clip of him literally dry humping a dude. So I don't know. Some of these NBA players be funny style. That might, Drea might just be her beard. It's very interesting. Like if you have if it's a dude that likes multiple older women, or he likes to date older women, they don't call him gay. But a man that just likes to just be like date multiple women in general, but particularly just younger women, that then all of a sudden, he must be gay, right? They never question like, why would Jalen Green be with a broad like Drea after a video like that of him resurfaces? Yeah, like that girl that I just showed, what's it, Erica? Just look, I can't scroll down long enough. I don't know. I gotta find a pic of like from like last year or something like that. I'm talking about from last year or 2 years ago. Before, I don't know how far I can scroll it. I'm gonna have to look for it. Yeah, damn, she posts a lot. God damn, this is from 23 weeks ago. But anyways, like if you look up, you're gonna have to probably look her up herself and just look at her pics from like last year. She did not like she did something to her face, particularly her lips. Right. And she went from like an 8 to like a mess. Right. She looks like a mess. Right. But like, yeah, when she didn't have that on her face, she was a legit 8 out of 10. No question about it. An 8 out of 10. Easily. Right. Nick says people shouldn't mess with their face at all unless they really know what they're doing and get minimal work done only. You'll either look like Kylie Jenner or Marilyn Monroe. Chances are it will be Kylie. Like, I know, like, I'll say this. I remember there was a couple of Jewish girls, like, before they go to college, like, it'll be like their parents will give them a nose surgery, like, as a gift. Like, they'll give it to them as a gift, like, before they go to college, or, before senior year of high school, they'll do something like that where their girl will have nose surgery. And I'll say this, there was a couple of girls where I saw their their middle school photos before their surgery, and then like their early high school photo books before their nose surgery. And I'll say, you know what? for those couple of those Jewish girls, the surgery kind of helped. I'll say it kind of helped. It kind of helped. I won't hold them, but it kind of helped. Right, some of the Persian bishops, they'll get that nose surgery right before they go to college, right? And it'll be as a gift, right? Bald Eagle says Japan has a woman prime minister and she's a fanatical nationalist, but we both know a man would have been better. Let's look her up real quick. Japan's prime minister. Sanae Takaichi. I just don't really think it's like I kind of look at it from almost a sports lens, right? I remember there was a female soccer player, or a female footballer, like, right? She said that most professional footballers don't know what it's like to not make any money. And just off that quote alone, that basically disqualifies most women from being in a position of power, because you should already know that most, like damn near over 90%, if not more than that, 90% of footballers don't even make a fraction of the amount of money that they're supposed to make. Most footballers are broke. Professional footballers are broke. But in her mind, she's only looking at the soccer players, the male soccer players on TV, the big stars, right? Those guys. She's only looking at the Premier League. She's only looking at Bundesliga, French League, La Liga, etc. She's not looking at the semi-pro footballers. She's not looking at the pro footballers in the second-tier division, third-tier division, fifth-tier division. Some countries, seventh-tier division, eighth-tier division, semi-pro, amateur league. She's not even looking at none of this. Over 30 league, over 40 league. She's not looking at none of those. Those are professional leagues. She's just looking at the top stars, and they think they should make as much as the top stars in their mind. And you're just like, bro. Just off that quote alone, I think Pyro said that Better Bachelor actually did a story on this. I just don't remember seeing it. But just off that quote alone, I was just like, yeah, I don't think women should be in charge with just in general. Like, if you just for you to say something that ignorant, that just shows you like you're just the average mindset, just the mindset. Because even there's kids that know that's not true. How are you a female footballer and you're saying that most men don't know what it's like to like not make any money? Most men don't make it, period, in football, let alone professional wise. And then most professional footballers are making less than even a lot of these women soccer players. You talk about dudes that are playing in the second division, third division. These guys work part-time jobs. They do the soccer and then they work like morning jobs or something like that. Right? Or they work a job where they can leave. They work a factory job. Even what's his name? One of the rare like miracle stories, like Jamie Vardy that used to play for Leicester City. It was like up until the age of 26 or 27 that he started actually playing top flight football. But most of his 20s, he was working at a factory part-time and then playing professional football part-time. That's the life of most professional footballers. But she just focused on the ninjas on TV. Crazy work. Absolutely crazy work. Long live the king says He says the fact that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is completely unaware that Shannon is baiting her to continue the foolery is beyond hilarious. Well, there's a lot, yeah. Even in general, even the dudes that do wish the best for Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, like she'll still make a fool out of herself. They try to hide it, but you know, she thinks she really believes the tomfoolery, the mess that she makes up in her mind as she goes along. She's a decent scam artist, but really part of the scam is without the black male thirst, right? The thirst of the black men dating women that look particularly like that older light-skinned broad that's willing to give it up, that has a little bit of clout. Those are the type of women that, you know, black dudes or like black dudes in their late 20s or early 30s. Those are the ladies that they try to quote unquote riz up, right? By the way, those Riz channels, these are the worst channels in the history, like the so-called Riz pickup artists. First of all, most of those interactions are fake. And then second of all, these whole ass niggas come in with their little meta glasses, recording the bitches against their will. These glasses. Now these people, because younger girls are starting to pick up on their game. Now they've changed their demographic, and then now they focus on trying to riz up older ladies. Have you seen these channels where they try to riz up older ladies? It's like these people are such a waste of time, a waste of space. I mean, if you're going to be doing stuff like that, you might as well just go into insurance and start, or go into sales. If you're going to be doing stupid shit like this, trying to riz up women in their 40s and 50s and they think they're winning. Like, so it's really secondhand embarrassment when I see those channels. But they think they're doing something.
55 years ago.
Right. And Obama was one of our youngest presidents.
Yes.
And so, but I think for the right woman, yes. And it could not be Michelle, but I love Michelle. But I think that what we do need is a change in leadership, and a woman would be a great change in leadership. And
no, that would be literally the end. That would be the end of us. I'm not even gonna hold you. We'll be up Shit's Creek if we did something that stupid. But anyways, let's look at some of the comments for that particular clip. Somebody says she's talking about you. Oh yeah, because she like I said, she's trying to sell herself to older men. Because at the end of the day, if Unc or somebody else was talking about, well, this is why I date younger women, they're gonna say he's a predator, or you're you're mentally manipulating her, right? Because of the age gap, right? Oh man. But anyways, let's see this real quick. Let's see if they got the other ones that I want. Oh yeah, Cardi B. Her talking about Cardi B.
people don't change, we shift. We learn how to manage the things in us that we don't like, or that we learn don't serve us. So if lying never served nobody, that person is still a liar who has to manage the behavior of not lying. No different than an addict. A person who was addicted to porn.
You know what's crazy? She's talking about herself. People think she's saying something deep, and you know, Shannon, he's acting like she's saying something deep so he can smash or whatever. But but she's talking about herself.
Is managing, no longer looking at porn. Management could look like this. They won't go in the environment of maybe a strip club. They will not go in an environment where there's a porn on television. Same thing for alcoholics, right? They try their best to not go around it as much as possible. There's a lot of willpower that takes, a lot of managing. You don't wake up in the next day or go through 6 months or a year of therapy, Shannon, and you are no longer built the way you are biologically. You no longer think the way you think. You no longer have the appetite that you used to have. Do we grow out of some things naturally? Yes. But evolving and growing out of something is very different than saying, now that I'm with you, I want to.
Oh, so I guess on Twitter, they have the short clip already ready for me. So, right. Life coach cites Cardi B and Offset in dating dynamics theory. Okay. Okay, so this is where I guess this is the clip that's going viral. They're saying Cardi B is a product of her environment. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Let's hear what she has to say about that.
A woman will become a product of your environment. Offset and Cardi B is a perfect example. Cardi B came into it. She had no kids. She was in her career. She's going diamond and platinum with her records. No kids. Offset had how many? By how many?
I think you had a couple.
So who became a product of whose environment? Cardi now has 2 by 2. My theory, proven right again. She has 2 by 2. So she's a product.
Well, that's not. First of all, she said my theory. Somebody saying somebody's a product of somebody's environment. That's not a new theory. First of all, and second of all, Cardi B is what she is, a hoe. Before she went quote unquote platinum, when she was selected to be platinum, what was Cardi B doing before she was making quote unquote records? She was stripping and selling her punani for money. That's what Cardi B was doing before she was on Love and Hip Hop and making music and all that stuff. She was a stripper. So she's always been a hoe. She just decided to keep Offset's kids. She done been knocked up before. You know, she, like Corey Holcomb said, she got a lot of receipts. She just kept Offset's kid. And then she kept Stephon Diggs' kid out of spite. Or we think it's Stephon Diggs' kid, you know. It's not a matter of a product of an environment. She's trying to pass the buck of blame on to Offset and Stephon Diggs. Like, oh, look at these dysfunctional men and blah, blah, blah. No, Cardi B is a hoe. And she herself, I've made a video about this where Cardi B says, I'd rather be with a man that cheats. She has said this before. If you think I'm lying, I could pull that up right now. Hold on. Let me bring that up on YouTube. Let me bring this up. Because I remember doing a whole segment on this. Cardi B says she rather be with a man that cheats. Or she'll stay with a man that cheats. Well, oh yeah, there's another clip of Cardi B saying, yeah, she gave a well, we already know that she did say she had given passes for Offset cheating, right? I think it's this clip right. Yeah, this clip right here.
I have dated men that were extremely faithful to me.
Were they ugly?
No, man, cute, super faithful to me. But it's like a lot of people, you know, when that whole cheating scandal came out, a lot of people say you deserve somebody faithful. But just because somebody like extremely faithful don't make you happy, because
that's true.
The guys that were extremely faithful to me, it just didn't work out. You just need to find. I have dated men.
So I remember covering that interview where she said it's worked out better with men, even when they cheated on me, and then the guys that didn't cheat on me, it never worked out. Right? So a lot of this stuff she's brought on herself. Literally is brought on herself. So I remember doing that video. So I said, okay, so that means in the future, when she's getting played or messing with dudes that has all these kids all over the place, right? We can't feel bad for her. This is what she has manifested in her life. But anyways, let me put it back to this one right here. So let's not put the onus on Offset and Stephon Diggs like it's their fault. I don't like that.
Product of his environment. I'm just saying what it is, because a man who's gonna marry is a man who's gonna what? Marry. Right. He's looking for marriage. But a man who's just looking for.
But well, first of all, Offset married Cardi B, and Cardi B had those kids in that marriage, right?
Ass is what he's looking.
So I'm gonna give Cardi B a pass for that, since we're giving Rachel Wilson a pass.
It don't matter if he runs into Dr. Bryant. People in general, especially women, have to stop being so arrogant.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, wasn't Dr. Cheyenne, didn't she leak Offset's DMs? Wasn't this the same one? So now she's trying to shit on Offset's name after bragging about him, basically humble bragging about him being in the DMs. Bruh.
Yeah. To think that anything we got from a face to a walk to a drop to anything can take a man and make him what he's not. We ain't build him. We ain't never made y'all. We will never change y'all. Only thing we can do is choose y'all and say, if this man never changes this right here, I will love everything about this man exactly how he is. But we don't do that. I do now, but most women don't. We go, I like 25, 35%. I think that's 65%. Once he meets me, makes love to me, see I can cook and I can clean and I can do these other things and my knees is good and I do cook, yeah. But the maid cleans. I'll cook it for you, but I don't eat red meat. But I'll cook it. It's going to change the type of man you are.
I don't even want to go out no more.
Okay, blobbly blue. More nonsense he's speaking. So, but I do gotta find the segment where she said, "Oh, let me see this right here. Let's look at this one. This is gonna be a funny one." So the title of this segment is "Black Men Who Don't Like Black Women Have Mommy Issues." So that's gonna be funny. That's gonna be a funny one. So stay tuned for that. I'm about to show you that in a minute. Oh man. He said 15YJZ says she thought she ate. Well, she thinks she's smart. She sound like Dame. I remember Dame Dash said this to Charlemagne the God. He said, "You sound smart to someone that's dumb." Or did he say that to DJ Envy? But yeah, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant sounds smart to somebody that's dumb. Or gullible. I'll say gullible. But like I said, any black man that is praising her, they're just praising her because they're physically attracted to her. 15YJZ also says, avoiding accountability, she targeted those men and kept the kids because they are high value. Exactly. Somebody said two Pookies. He said two Pookies and a Jezebel. They're a match made in hell. Literally. But we're just gonna say, oh, it's just those guys, because she's like she's passive aggressively, or how about this? Basically, low key putting the shade on Stephon Diggs and Offset, but particularly Offset. But anyways, let's look at this. This is gonna be funny. I haven't seen this one yet. Let's see what she says about this. So she says, black men who don't like black women have mommy issues. Okay, so let's take a look at this one right here.
A man who says, I am turned off and do not like black women, so I date non-black women.
Right.
He has mommy issues.
Okay.
He has an identity crisis because you came from the women you're saying you dislike. So now we have a deeper rooted issue. I'm not saying that a brother who only dates outside of black women cannot also have mommy issues, but if that's just his preference, then that's different than saying, I don't date because my experience was bad. I don't date because I don't like the way black women show up. I don't date because I don't like the way black women are strong or they talk too much. And I'm not saying those things ain't true for a lot of us, okay? Yes. But what I'm saying is everyone has a right to have their preference. But I do believe that people need to look deep down and say, why is that your preference? Take inventory on that. I know my preference of a man with no kids is because growing up as a little girl, I had to share my father with 6 other siblings.
You want undivided attention.
So you're allowed to be selfish, but black men aren't allowed to be selfish on who they want to who they want to date or who they don't want to date. So you, Miss Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, you're allowed, because it's you're allowed to not want a man with kids, but a man is not allowed to say, look, I don't want to date black women because how I was treated by them when I was a kid. That stuff matters. this whole like, you know, you'll hear people dismiss it. Well, you're still holding on to what happened to you in middle school. I'm like, okay, so imagine if you had a female, right, and she was a victim of rape, and it's like 20 years later, and specifically she doesn't like going out at night because of what happened to her when she was in middle school, or she doesn't like going to parties because of what happened to her in middle school. And now imagine if I came in there, I was like, man, you still holding on to that old shit in middle school? You still, man, that's old news. I mean, you in your 20s now. You got to get over that. Now, people might say, why am I going this extreme? I'm just saying trauma, you can't categorize trauma, right? And just be like, oh, this person is more traumatic than others, you know, ranking everybody's traumas. There have been boys, even girls, that have been like they've been traumatized by other black men, other black women, right? But we're so quick to bring up, you know, slavery and shit that we didn't even, you know, we can't, like, black people, we can't do this where we're bringing up slavery. We're bringing up shit in the 1960s, the 1930s, shit we didn't even experience. And then we talking about trauma. But then we dismiss if we have a young black man who actually experienced isolation, teasing, bullying from a particular gender or a particular demographic, and then dismiss it. And then he'll say, oh, I don't date that because I went through this, you know, this difficult time with this cohort. So I just tend to, so once I started dating out, it was just better for me. And I've just stuck to that. Now, if somebody says, if I had a different, and then for that same man to be like, look, if I had a different experience, maybe I would have dated black women. And then you just dismiss that. You can't dismiss that. That's just how I roll. We can't dismiss trauma. We can't dismiss that. You know, I noticed this, right? Particularly on this channel, I will talk about my history with white women when I was in elementary school, particularly, you know, white female teachers, and black people have no problem when I talk about my early experiences with white female teachers. But then when I start talking about stuff that potentially young black girls were doing, oh, you got to get over it. That's middle school, or that's high school. That stuff matters. That stuff matters. They just think it's impossible for a black man to be traumatized from a certain experience. Like, this can happen to anybody. White man gets traumatized by a white woman, a white man gets traumatized by a black man. It can happen to anybody. But now when it comes to, you know, obviously dating preferences, people have their reasons. Now, at the end of the day, I'm in full belief that black men need to stop explaining why they like what they like. Because black men, they feel like they need to explain themselves. I usually advise black men, don't explain yourself. Just date who you want. Because black men think that they're helping by explaining, but you're actually making it worse. They don't want the explanation. They just want you to shoot. They just want to be chose, no matter how they act. So that's what I usually try to tell black men in general, or really men in general. Just don't explain yourself. Just date who you need, date who you want, date who you're attracted to. No need to explain yourself. Like, it would be black dudes. They'll be even black dudes. They're afraid to say, look, I like light skinned women. I'm just more sexually attracted to light skinned women. Right now, I have scientific proof of this. Low key, I have tangible evidence to prove these are facts. Right. But black men, like particularly darker skinned black men, they're afraid to admit this. But they shouldn't be, because you don't have to explain. You just got to do, like, this is my preference. I'd rather be with this. And just be chill about it. Don't feel like you need to explain yourself. Other races, they'll just be like, look, I date this and I'm not changing. Women will make the necessary adjustments. They'll make the necessary adjustments. You don't need to explain anything.
And I'm not sharing another man in my life.
Damn.
And I'm also not going to put my children in a position to have to share their father with anybody else at all. And I'm going to go even deeper. When my father passed away, which I'm happy my dad did, it's so perfect, right? His life insurance went split up amongst his babies.
Yeah.
Now, I love that because I love my babies. I'm the oldest of 7. Those are all my babies,
Right.
okay? And if he would have gave it all to me, I would have split it with everybody anyway.
Right.
Did she say I loved when my dad passed away? Or maybe did I mishear what she just said?
Went split up amongst his babies.
You want undivided attention.
And I'm not sharing another man in my life.
Damn.
And I'm also not going to put my children in a position to have to share their father with anybody else at all. And I'm going to go even deeper. When my father passed away, which I'm happy my dad did, it's so perfect, right? His life insurance.
Or I guess maybe she's talking about how the life insurance policy went, but the way that sounded crazy.
Went split up amongst his babies.
Yeah.
Now, I love that because I love my babies. I'm the oldest of 7. Those are all my babies,
Right.
okay? And if he would have gave it all to me, I would have split it with everybody anyway.
Right.
But I'm happy he did it on his own. But my point in saying that is,
okay, she was talking about the split. That sounded crazy to me for a moment. My bad.
when a man or a woman gets with somebody who has other offsprings and kids, you have to not only think about the relationship presently, but also in the exit strategy. So my kids do have to split things. My kids are being born into a deficit because guess what? You won't be able to be present every day with my child if you are going to be a father to those children. And when Christmas comes or holidays come or school comes or God forbid something happens to your other children, like an emergency, what if our kids have an emergency at the same time? Who do you choose? What happens? Do I show up as a single mother in that moment because dad has to be here? How do I explain that to our babies? And why do I have to? And I won't have to if I choose a man who I know can be present, because being present is being in my house, in our children's home, taking them to school, waking up in the morning, them seeing you with the good morning. Our son being able to watch how you process your emotions as a man. Watch how you interact with me as a man. Watch how you sit with your legs like that. Watch how when the game is on, you sit and watch it in a certain statue. Watch how you yell at the TV the way you do what you do. I yell at the TV when I watch football, and I am a football head because my grandfather and my father were football men. So we would sit and watch football
Okay, it's a pain to hear her talk. But anyways. Yeah, facts. He said no one's a victim of any environment in this particular situation. Shout out to Pan the Man. Shout out to Pan the Man for checking in. What's up, man? 15YJZ says facts. I don't talk to my sister because she constantly would make comments about everything I did, my hair, calling me sassy, etc., to shame me, basically tried to tear me down. I never took the bait. That's sad, honestly. Luckily for me, because I was the oldest, so I had to be very careful on how I didn't realize the impact of it. It took me a while to realize the impact of what you're saying to your siblings when you're young. So even certain things that I did, so I always encourage my siblings to be involved, to not be isolated, get in part of groups. Don't do like what I did, right? So I always implored them to do that and not to follow, my example, right? So even when I used to talk to them like for real. I used to be like, well, your life, you always gotta, if you're the older sibling, you need to be speaking life into your younger siblings, right? So there are always things I would say, even casually. I'd be like, well, you guys don't, you guys will, you'll every time if they had a complaint or if they had something, I'll be like, you guys will be fine. You guys are normal looking people. You don't have to deal with the same problems that I did. I would make like little jokes here and there, even though that's a bit self-deprecating, but just to let them know that you guys are fine, right? You guys are fine. Don't worry. You guys are not ugly. Trust me. I would be saying something else if you guys You guys are gonna find what you're looking for. You guys will be good, right? But particularly, I will say there's a certain like ritual that you got to do if you like, say, if it's an older brother and a younger brother. But I will say this: there are a lot of younger women or older sisters. Their bullying, particularly older sisters, tend to it gets a little bit underlooked because they'll do things like this and then not really understand the long-term consequences of not speaking life, right? So I always try to, so whatever negative I said to my siblings back then, I really try to make it up in the back end, particularly when I was like in middle school and high school up, right? Or I'll give you another example. Like when I was in high school, I didn't go to no dances, right? Because it just wasn't my thing. I was just focused on sports, right? And I've been asked. Like I remember when I was a freshman, it was like a senior. It was a girl that was a senior. She asked me to the prom, right? Now at the time, I thought she was pranking me because somebody did something like similar to me when I was like in middle school. Somebody pranked and act like they wanted to go out with me, but it was just a phone prank. So I was just going into like, oh, she's pranking. And then I remember Broski on my team was like, no, she's dead serious. She really wanted to go to prom with you. I'm like, oh, for real? Like, yeah, do you want to? And I was like, nah, why don't she go? And I was like, why don't she go with her boyfriend? I was like, yo, this bra wilding, right? But it's just dances were never my thing, right? But I've been asked by women to go, but it's just never been my thing. Then on top of that, I just knew, drinking was going to be involved in drugs. So I've always been like anti-drugs, even in my immature years, right? But I always encourage my siblings, look, go to prom, go to cotillion, do all that, but obviously just be safe. Because I always try to tell them, like, look, I just didn't want to go personally, just me personally. Because I didn't really like hanging with those kids in my high school. But it's different for you guys. You guys have a nice friend group. You guys are together. All of you guys are, you guys are a colorful group of people, if you know what I'm saying. Hint, hint, nod. You're a colorful group of people. You guys, have similar backgrounds. You guys can have fun with each other, right? And have, good, decent fun. Nobody crosses any boundaries. Right? So they were able to get the okay and be like, okay. But there's like I said, there's certain things that I did when I quit taking lessons, they quit taking lessons when it comes to music, right? So as the older sibling, you need, I still struggle with setting that example, right? But you got to set that example. Anyways.
Stop. I'm calling pick six all day. I am calling flag on the play. PI. Come on, ref. That's me.
Right.
Other women don't watch it like that.
Correct.
Because how did I learn it? By watching the men in my house. By being the only girl for so long.
Kids are very observant.
So my thing is, and I'll wrap on this, is it's not that people with kids, multiple folks, are doomed. Mm-hmm. It's a different way that they have to parent. Okay. And whether you parent perfectly, not perfectly, but you parent at your best or not, those kids are still going to be in a deficit. And I want to say this part too, because my kids are being born into my house, in our children's home. When I watch football, it's not that people with kids, multiple folks, are doomed. Mm-hmm. It's a different way that they have to parent. Okay. And whether you parent perfectly, not perfectly, but you parent at your best or not, those kids are still going to be in a deficit. And I want to say this part too, because a present parent can also present trauma. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to make it seem like because if you're in the household, you're not presenting trauma. Because it's also sometimes.
Okay. All the comments is just roasting her. They're saying this bitch ain't no doctor. Somebody said, I'm convinced you want this bitch dragged because you done reposted her saying BS multiple times now. Oh, yeah. So somebody said this woman is a scammer, talking all of this ish, but still a single mother. Is her ex remarried? Does he have kids elsewhere? Can he always be there? Well, she's not a single mom. She's single and childless, right? But she's 43 years old. Somebody said, does she say this about black women that don't date black men? That's the crazy part, because usually the black women that give crap, they give the most crap to black men dating outside their race are usually black women that regularly date interracially. I'm talking about on a regular basis. I don't know how that works, where it's like it's always on Twitter too. They'll find a black woman that's talking crazy about a black man dating a white woman, and then they'll look at her old tweets, and it is just all tweets of her thirsting over white dudes. It's almost like clockwork at this point. But those are the ones that actually give the most stick to black men marrying outside their race, are the black women that are dating outside their race currently as we speak. It's crazy work. It's absolute crazy work. Let's see what else she got. Let me see. They say a woman will product. Yeah. So those are the viral clips. Oh, let's go on, because I know they post a lot of the good stuff on Instagram. Let's see if I can bring up the clip, because they said that she said something about Cam Newton. So let's go over that. Let's see if she did. Oh yeah, the side chicks thing.
Had a relationship with Rich the Kid. Summer Walker went viral because she had a relationship with Rich the Kid, who's engaged, and he's saved her on the Pizza Hut in his phone. I don't know what that means. Now, Pizza Hut used to have, this before your time, but Pizza Hut used to have buffets. They have all the pizzas up there, and you just go get a slice of pepperoni, whatever, mushroom, you get ground beef, all that, anchovies. Just, I don't know what that means.
How did the fiance find out that she was Pizza Hut? Do we know that?
Don't start me lying.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out what is it about women and married men? Because normally married men, like, oh, she married? I don't want to, because men are different. I mean, hold on, just a second. A man, he might not even want his wife, he might not be as interested as he was once before. But the moment another man show interest, you will have a problem, Doc. But women, what is it about women that are attracted to married men? Because I just saw the study, they say women are more attracted to married men.
Okay. Another two-part.
Anyway, so let me get the Instagram. I got the Club Shay Shay interview up. I don't have much patience for Dr. Cheyenne Bryant's gobbledygook, her talking. Healing versus isolation. Doc on demon time, and it shows her choking herself, so we already know what that's going to be about. Women dating younger women. SEX, good girls liking bad guys, fatherless little girls. Okay, yeah, that's the clip I was looking for, where she's been going viral for this clip, where Dr. Bryant is talking to Shannon and saying that Shannon needs to grow up. So this is interesting. I want to take a look at this full clip. Or let me see if I can hold on. I'm going to have to bring this up in another tab. Hold on for just a second. I'm going to have to, oh man, this is going to take a minute. Let me bring this up. Here we go. I'm going to have to download this video. But in the meantime, let's bring up the Summer Walker video in the meantime while I'll bring this up.
Question.
Yeah.
So you're not messy, but you're crap. First of all, men love married women as well.
Do they?
We're not going to let men off the hook. A man would love to listen. A man would love to say, "How you doing? Oh, I'm good. Can I get your number? I'm married. Oh, that's fine. It's all good.
You can't have
It's all
friends.
good. You can't have friends. So we're not going to make this a one gender thing. Men and women both
How about me?
will cross that boundary and disrespect the sanctity of marriage equally.
You think so?
The difference is the man who was saying, "I don't care if you're married," is clearly boldly saying, "I just want to sleep with you."
Okay.
The woman who was saying, "I like you because you're married," she's saying at some point, "I want her position." And women are usually attracted to the married men who are good men to their wives. Not faithful men, just good men through their transactions.
Yeah. Whatever excuse she can come up. Oh, I've seen that one. Pyro, I've seen that one. He said, "Chris, did you see that video that black women don't get a head nod from black dudes when she's overseas with them?" And she made a whole video about it. And she said, "We as blacks should stand together." And she has a white boyfriend. I saw that. It's this broad in Colombia. And she was talking about how American black men aren't greeting her ever since she traveled over there. And she made a whole ruckus about this. And then people did the research on her. She has a white boyfriend. These are the ones that give us the most shtick for dating outside the race. And then they're doing the exact same thing. It's like, to me, it's still mind-boggling to me, this nonsense. Let me see if I can bring up the broad real quick. Let me bring her up. Because I have her saved way down in the files here. Let's see if I can find her. She's here. She's in my saved. she's there somewhere. I'm just gonna have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. But I really wish. But like, man, you know what? Because I remember when I first heard, it was somebody on one of these MGTOW channels, right? And he was like, "Yo, there are black women going to these countries that we're at, and they're spying on us." And I was like, "Nah." I thought I was like, "Nah, there's no way." Until you start seeing all these videos of black women talking about, "Oh man, I'm in Colombia right now, or I'm in the Philippines, and let me just tell you what black men are." It's like, what? I'm like, y'all ain't got nothing better to do. This is crazy. I'm like, this is crazy work. Absolute crazy work. Oh man, I thought I saved the video, but maybe I didn't. I would have sworn I saved that video. Maybe I removed it. See, I'm seeing Charlie Kirk. Well, this is not that's not the same one. Let me see if I can bring up, let me see, Passport Truck. I like his, okay, let me see if I can find it on his Twitter page. Let me see if I can find it on his Twitter page. Because I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, damn, I'm probably not gonna be able to find it. Oh, I think this is it. Is this it? Yeah, that's the girl. That's the girl that was complaining about. Yeah, it was Paris Dior, right? Yeah. So this was the girl that was complaining about not being approached in by black men in Colombia. Meanwhile, she or this might be her ex, but this is the white dude that she was dating in the past. And now she's done with that phase of her life. She's feeling a type of way just because she's not getting a head nod back or of acknowledgement. And look at all of her old tweets. Like I said, a lot of the pro-blacks, particularly the pro-black women, the reason why they're pro-black now is because being pro-white didn't work for them. So now they switched to being pro-black after being literally anti-black men and pro-white men for like a better part of their their late teenage years and 20s, right? So look at her tweets, her old tweets. It says, "I hate all black men." Another tweet, it says, "I really think it's mentally something wrong with all black men." Another tweet, "Black men are always such a huge disappointment." Another one that says, "We shouldn't be hesitant because a lot of black men willingly date other races." She says here, another tweet says, "Black men are the biggest disappointments to mankind." And this tweet is basically around the same time where she has her white boyfriend, right? Basically around the same time. Another tweet says, "Black men been turning completely off as of lately. I really don't like y'all." So this is during when she had her white boyfriend. She's making these tweets. So basically everything that she accuses black men of doing when it comes to interracial dating, it's all projection. All projection. Okay, so let's see if I can find the actual video. Let me see if I can actually find the actual video of her complaining about it. Let's see. No, not this one. It's got to be somewhere here, though. See, passport bro, passport trucker. I don't know. It's in there somewhere, but I don't got time to look at it. But anyway, yeah, shout out to passport trucker. He be putting all this stuff on blast, right? But let me show you another video, though. Let me show you another video. I think I've showed you this before. This broad right here. She went to Medellin. They say they're there to travel, but they're really there to scout and spy on ninjas. This is crazy.
If you're thinking about coming to Colombia, I'm in Medellin right now, and
by the way, this is a different lady. This is a different video.
I was looking for what to know before you go to Medellin. Nobody said this thing and hear this out. Every woman here, it's a 10 out of 10. I'm telling you, they're all got their bodies done, face card, hair. So make sure your outfits are on point. Make sure your makeup is on point. Because if you go, I went out last night. I said it's a Thursday. I'm not gonna do too much because I don't want to stand out too much. I felt like I didn't belong. I was like, oh my God, I want to go home. I don't feel like I'm that bitch in this place because every girl that walked through that door was stunning. So get your A game together.
So I think, I showed you that video before, but I can't find the actual video where it's just like, with the broad. She probably deleted it. She probably deleted her video. Maybe that's what it is. But that was fun. That was some interesting stuff. But anyways, let's bring up the video of Dr. Bryant telling Shannon Sharpe to man up. Let's see if I can bring up that video for the public right now.
With you is you've accomplished so much in everything you've touched transactionally. It has turned to gold, all the way down to the gold jacket. But like the fig tree, you still haven't found yourself. All the way at the age of 60. And finding yourself takes the heart.
The mind replays what the heart can't delete.
Hello. And so you have been operating from such a mind space so that you don't have to even have a connection with the heart, that it has put you in such a deficit of self. And that's what goes back to when I said a man who can procreate with multiple women without wanting to make sure that there is a foundational family there, he has a loss of self. And that man has an identity crisis.
Is it that really? Because men are they're just biologically programmed to procreate, really, in general. And hell, even I'll say nowadays, I think you got particularly men like Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, etc., they're doing this actually strategically because financially and logic wise, it actually works better. Look at all the dudes that are stuck with just procreating with one woman and then they break up. They have to literally fight to see their kids. But for some reason, all the dudes that I know that had like multiple kids with like multiple families, they don't get blocked from seeing their kids. So I can even I always made it a case that I think men are being strategic, particularly nowadays when they're having like multiple kids with multiple families or just multiple situations. I think that a lot of them, they're doing that strategically because they understand the hack. If you're a dude and you just have like all your kids with one broad and then you break up and then you're just fighting to just see that one kid that with the one broad you got, you're gonna get destroyed. She's going to destroy you. But the dudes that have the multiple kids kind of just spread out, even though obviously I don't recommend that, but I'm just saying those dudes, a lot of them, they're never on child support. Even the musicians I know that are in situations like that. The musicians that are in that position, they're never on child support for some weird reason. I don't know why. But I think it's the competition anxiety. I think that's really what it is. None of the broads, they don't want to be known as the bitter baby mom or the one mom that's giving them the problems because they're afraid that he's going to stop seeing that one kid and he's going to be with his other kids with his other situation. Just from my vantage point, it seems like the broads act just they act correct when you have like multiple kids in like different, situation. Look at what DDG what DDG needs to do. I keep telling DDG just needs to create a new family. This shit that he's doing where he's like, okay, I don't even want to look, you want to be a dad, right? Okay. Wash your hands. Just get another one. Man, you can literally make a whole other family. He can even choose a whole other race if he wants. Like Nick Cannon do. He got a black bitch over there, an Asian bitch over there, Spanish bitch over there, white bitch over there, East Indian bitch over there, West Indian. That's what he's doing. That Nick Cannon's doing that strategically. I'm telling you, they understand the hack. Future and all the they don't get the credit for being the geniuses really that they are. And like I said, you don't even have to follow my lead on that, but just observe your everyday life. The guys that have multiple baby mamas, several baby mamas with multiple kids, are any of their baby mamas trying to block them? They're most likely you're not going to see that. The only times you might see something like that is like if you had like one of these white dudes or black dudes, but I'll say particularly like the white dude, because white dudes are most likely like to be like in a marriage situation. If he like married the broad and then he divorced her and then married somebody else but decided not to have kids with that one, then you'll see him go through nonsense, right? But the ones that have multiple kids with multiple families, they never have to fight to see their kids. In fact, their baby moms fight for them to have more custody or more time. They complain the most about them not being there. They actually want them to be there more. So it's a life hack that I've observed from other men. And I think men like Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, all these people that are, they accuse them of creating broken families, but that's really the woman's fault, by the way. But I think they're doing that strategically. See, I just got a text message. Oh no, nothing to worry about. Anyways, keep this playing.
And there is a huge self-love deficit because a man who loves himself makes decisions that represent self-love. And everything that you have externalized is a direct reflection of you. The brokenness in the families you created, that's just the brokenness in you. How you can be successful transactionally, but your heart is over here, talking about, well, at what point am I gonna get seen? And then what the little boy in you tells a heart is, didn't nobody want to see you when you was young. Wasn't nobody tripping off you then. So why do we think anybody is deserving, right? Or why do I think as a little boy that you're deserving of someone who would take your heart and really protect it and create a safe space? So it's easier for you to have transactional sex or have things that are convenient for you because that gives you control. And control is just
So when she says grows the F up, what does that mean? Does that mean grow up and take me? I think that's low key what it is, or take a woman like me, marry a woman like me. Grow up, Shannon Sharpe. Get an old 49-year-old bitch with no eggs that can offer nothing but debt and bad attitude. Take me on, and then we'll break up, and then I'll take half of your assets because we were married officially. I think that's her definition of growing up. That's typically when women are telling men to like grow up and take responsibility. That just means, oh, you need to be married and be tied down and have this bill. Nah, we're good. we're good here. Let me look at the comments section though. That's what intrigues me. Let me see what the comments say. Oh, the comments already got me laughing. Let me switch over. So let's look at the comments here. Somebody said, Unc ain't trying to hear all that. Somebody said she's almost 50 and single. They're in the same boat. Somebody said, go ahead, Unc, and make that move. She's right there. No. Like, I'm not saying he won't try to smash, but nothing more. Now, I'll say this. You know what's gonna happen? Say if Shannon Sharpe and Dr. Bryant become a couple, right? Say if that happens. You know what Corey Holcomb is going to say? Because I know him too well. You know what Corey Holcomb is going to say? He's going to say, that is the perfect couple. And you know why Corey Holcomb is going to say that? He's going to say, he said, look, Shannon Sharpe, he likes men a little bit. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant likes women a little bit. They're going to be the perfect couple. You know how Corey Holcomb is. That's what's gonna be. That's what Corey Holcomb is gonna say on Tuesday. I bet you all the money if they come together, or if Corey Holcomb acknowledges the podcast, if he talks about it, he's gonna be like, oh, this is the perfect couple. They're gonna be each other's beards. That's what Corey Holcomb's gonna say. And I'll say this: I kind of agree with that. But I think it's mostly, at the end of the day, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, if Shannon Sharpe chooses her, she's going. Especially especially with the financial strides that Shannon Sharpe was on last year before the whole OnlyFans model situation. If he chose Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, then she would have just stopped doing everything that she's doing and then just be with Shannon. And she'd still do that now, right? But I know Corey Holcomb way too well. That's what he's gonna make a joke out of them both being in the closet. So they'll be the perfect couple. Somebody said, I think it was brave of him to post this. Somebody said Cheyenne/Sharpe don't sound bad at all. Somebody said, I love how he wasn't defensive, just taking it all in. Well, he wasn't defensive. It's just because at the end of the day, he wants to smash. You know, it is what it is. Somebody said, neither has she. He said, these shoes. So she goes, bam, baby, these two should date. No, they shouldn't. That's a disaster. But if we're using the Corey Holcomb theory, then maybe they would be a decent couple. And I'll say this: because Shannon Sharpe, he already had his kids, right? Shannon, and then Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, she can't have any kids herself. I think, here's the problem. I think Shannon Sharpe, I don't think he wants kids. If he can, like, if he does want kids, he wants it with, with a much younger woman, right? But if Shannon Sharpe with a woman like that, he wouldn't want kids. Oh man. But yeah, I just think that would be a terrible selection for Shannon Sharpe to pick her as a wife. Somebody said, I like the way Monique said it. Nah, you guys can't defeat biology, bro. Dudes like Shannon Sharpe and like guys like that are not guys like Shannon Sharpe and company, right? Those older dudes, particularly those older dudes that like to stay in shape and work out all the time, they're not doing that to get 40-year-old, 50-year-old broads, bro. Right? But anyways, let me end this bad boy. I went way too overtime. I gotta end this stream. I gotta end this one. I'm gonna have to end this one. But yeah, she said a whole lot of nothing.
Security and security is just fear. And that's that little boy in you who is so afraid that if I can't touch and go with everything, I might end up touch and staying and might get stuck in a place that I don't know how to navigate. Let me say this again, not in a place that isn't safe, not in a place that isn't loving, but in a place that the little boy in you does not know how to navigate. It's time for the grown man in you to grow the fuck up and give yourself a chance to love, whatever that looks like, and to gain a sense of self of who you really are at your heart space. Because transactional life isn't really legacy. It just isn't. It's nice on paper.
Yeah.
But it's not legacy. The real wealth and the real legacy is what Dion has. And that's family. That's family. I'm not saying you don't have it with your girls. And I'm not saying it's too late to create it.
Right.
But what I'm saying is I would like to offer that at some point, you do start to say, let me just dive into my heart by myself.
Yeah, she's trying to sell herself. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious here. But anyways, that's all I got for today. I thought it would be a more informative something. I thought she was going to say something a little bit, something out of the box, but she's still on that same gargly goop. Nothing impressive, nothing really viral, but I'll probably have a couple of reaction vids of it. We shall see. We'll see let's see if I have some time tomorrow. It depends, because on Sunday sometimes I get called up to a church and then sometimes I don't. Oh yeah, but I'm back. Like I said, I'm back to doing church gigs again. So also I'll say this is church in New York. I want to do this one church in New York so bad. It's I've never done this before. It's a quote unquote queer friendly church. I gotta see what's up. But they're saying they're paying. If you're a substitute over there, if you substitute, you're getting $300. I'm like, oh, where do I start? I gotta see this for myself, right? I texted the keyboard player to see what's up. I haven't gotten a response back. I hope he comes back to me. I'm gonna give him another response to see if he still got room. I gotta see the church, and plus that money looking good for now, right? But yeah, that's it for today. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, nothing new. She is who she is. Oh man. Pyro says, why do you hate broad so much, man? But it looks like from my vantage point, it just looks like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. She's trying to sell herself to Shannon to show that she's a decent catch. That's what she does when she goes on a lot of these people's podcasts, particularly these men's podcasts. I'll see if I can listen to the full interview on my off time or something like that, because comedy has probably it's had to be mentioned at least one point. It has to be. And Snack King comes up quite often involuntarily on the show, which is kind of ironic. even though Shannon Sharpe refuses to say his name on the show. Shannon Sharpe gets so sensitive about that rainbow stuff. But anyways, shout out to you guys. Oh, by the way, thank you, Shadow Dog Law 257 for the $4.99 and Pyro for the $5 super chat. Oh yeah, by the way, the religious woman point that Pyro made earlier. I hope before I leave, I'm gonna leave off with this. A lot of the reason why we have this miscommunication with this whole religion and why if men are being religious or black men or women or men are not being religious is because, yes, both of you guys, both men and women are religious. You just got to make sure you guys are both praying to the same gods. And today's women, they worship a god. It might not be the same God that you're both worshiping. So please do be careful about this. I've already hinted at this on this channel. A lot of these broads, they're out here, they're worshiping a different deity than you. This is where the miscommunication is coming from. But anyways, before I leave, let me leave you off with this video from, let's see, is that new video still there that I added, the clip that Pyro wanted me to add? Yep, it's there. Here we go. Shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Go on. No, I sense I've made a mistake of some kind.